This video is about 1 Peter 5:8, Revelations 12:9, and Saturn or Chronus. Saturn or Chronos, celebrated as Saturnius mons, since really the beginnings of Rome, was the god of generation, dissolution, plenty, wealth, agriculture, periodic renewal, and liberation. So you already see the parallels that you can draw between Satan and Saturn. How he takes on some of the aspects of Jesus, therefore being a sort of Christ-like figure, but the Antichrist, especially since he had a serpentine shape and 3 heads. There's the number 3 for Masonry. A bull, a man, and a lion. His festival Saturnalia was the festival of role reversal, defying the natural order, being an anti-order, if you will. Role reversal, which brings in chaos. Free speech and gift-giving. There's charity. The Masonic principle of charity, philanthropy. You know, when they accumulate wealth, charity becomes philanthropy now, doesn't it? So remember, Masons reenact things. They meticulously build things, and their components have more than one purpose. Multi-purpose components, if you will. Just like in a building. The door is an entrance. It can also be a work of art. It also has a sort of feng shui effect, and so on. And there's many examples, you know. Of course, hidden rooms. So the wall has more than one purpose. It has a secret passage, and it's the wall, and it helps hold up the next floor, and so on. So when you look at Saturn and the festival, what are they doing? They're dissolution. Dissolution is like dissolving. It's dissolving. So they're dissolving the Christian religion and replacing it with Saturn, who, according to the Greeks, was Father Time, and also associated with a lot of bad things. He came between Uranus and Zeus. He chopped off the penis of Uranus, and from the penis came a white foam, which created Aphrodite, which created love. So it's a perversion. He's associated with a perversion of love, really. Aphrodite came from a rather unfortunate event, and then she decides who is in love and who isn't. Of course, you see gays talking about love wins, right? It goes back to the role reversal. And when you think about it, the festival isn't just saying everyone has free speech. No, free speech is determined by the god who is the father of Jupiter. And Jupiter was very important to the Romans. We also see generation, right? He's generating wealth, generational Satanism. Plenty. So when you really think about it, what does it mean to have plenty when some people have nothing at all? He's also the god of selfishness and greed when you truly use some insight and deductive reasoning. Saturn, the god of the heartless, the Antichrist deity. Now, let's look at some of these aspects, shall we? The serpentine shape and the lion. We'll start there. Well, okay. 1 Peter 5:8. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. So he's describing the characteristics of Satan, which just happen to be the characteristics of Saturn. Revelations 12:9. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent, ancient Saturnius mons, worshipped since the beginnings of Rome. Rome, where they crucified Jesus, along with the secret society Jews. That ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, which is very close to Saturn. You look at the word. That who leads the whole world astray. Role reversals. Saturn is also the reaper. He has a scythe in his hand in many depictions because he's also the god of the harvest. And the Bible talks about the harvest. I should have thrown that in there too. I'll put it in the comments. parables about the rebirth, what have you. He was hurled to the earth and his angels with him. So when we look at this, right, and how Plutarch also mentioned him, Plutarch also recorded Roman battles. The historians, Dio, Plutarch, what have you, they recorded the battles of Julius Caesar and Marius. And Julius Caesar was also a historian as well, to a certain degree, because he recorded some of his own battles as he went into, I believe, Germania and Britannia. You have to understand what is going on here. And I'm sad to be the bearer of bad news, like I always am, but it's the subject, These people, they worship Saturn and they have criminal rings. They want to bring in a golden age, So the golden age of Saturn is not only in Wikipedia's description of Saturn, it's also in, I believe, the 4th poem, I think it's called, of the Eclogue of Virgil. The golden age and the golden race. And no, they're not talking about golden brown skin, which would be an interesting, an interesting topic or an interesting idea from a people who were pale white Romans, Italians, and from the Mediterranean basin and whatnot. But they are talking about a golden race, a master race. And golden blonde hair is what comes to mind when you're, when the people who are doing the thinking are Germans and Nordics. They came into contact with Rome and said, you know what? Maybe we are that master race. Let's look at this here, people. What is going on here? It's like one big festival to Saturn, never ending. And I'm afraid that the righteous are being screened out. That is part of the dissolution. The process of dissolution. I've been disillusioned while they are doing the process of dissolution. I don't believe in America. I don't believe in secularism. I don't believe in having secret societies that secretly do not separate their church from the state, but they wish to separate the Christian church from the state. I don't believe in that. We live in a theocracy. It is just not called that. It is called a secular state. But all the principles of Saturn are applied, and none of the principles of Christianity are applied as they were meant to be, much less as it was.